Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome back to the channel. We are going to build something cool for our Mordheim table today. Now, this just isn't exclusively for Mordheim. You can use these for any type of medieval city build, and Dungeons and Dragons, Frostgrave, anything like that, Age of Sigmar. This is going to fit really well. Especially if you have some sort of cityscape city build that you're doing. Now that I have this Mordheim build that I've, board that I've built for a few years, I'm adding little things now to make it realistic. And I found these little kids' toys, these EVA foam blocks that were on sale after Christmas. And I do love to craft with that pink construction foam. It's one of my favorite products, but it's really messy, and a lot of times I have trouble cutting things exact. And so these things, when they're on sale, are kind of like Legos, or they save us a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, and the material is a little bit different than other foams. It's a little bit tougher, a little bit more resilient, which I kind of like. I like the idea, and it has a little bit of more weight to it compared to that pink foam. So it's its own material, but for games and for gameplay, those two key elements are enough for me to spend a few more dollars to get some of this stuff on the table. And once I kind of get it together, it's a lot different than some of the weird junky terrain that I tend to make that's got this slight jank to it, this slight human error to it. And this is kind of helping me overcome that a little bit. Now, this I'm slowly kind of piecing these together, and you don't see it on the roll here, but obviously I tried a bunch of different variations to kind of see what sort of pieces that I wanted to use. I wanted this to be able to be constructed into different variations, and most of our favorite tabletop terrain, and like the tabletop I like to build, I like it to be modular. So my idea is that we're doing these kind of like archway pieces that have these kind of cool columns, and we're going to be able to build small little aqueducts is what we are building. And I don't think I've mentioned this. We're about 5 minutes into the video, and I haven't even mentioned what we're building. But yes, these are aqueducts. And the idea is that my current Mordheim board has this sort of sickly green river, which you'll see at the end of the video, going through it. The idea being that if there was any sort of waterways in Mordheim, when the meteor hit, that they would be tainted by the warp stone, by the weird stone. And so the idea is that this could be used along the river to kind of create more platforms and more places to put nice wooden ladders to kind of create the elevation, because anybody who watches this channel and plays Mordheim will know that games like Mordheim and Frostgrave, stuff like this, skirmish games, and even the one-page rules skirmish games are a lot of fun when you introduce elevation. You can create more variety in your games, and I just think it's fun and cool, so all these little spidey webs over here, and you'll see in the left and the right pieces are kind of like my normal pieces, and then I have this centerpiece which can be stacked with the rest to kind of create a little variation. And there's enough variation in these two, and if I wanted to place the aqueducts alongside some of the roads in my Mordheim build and my medieval city board, they could be, twist and turn and used in different ways. And so here I'm using some of the scrap pieces, and I'm going to create little ladders and staircases so that our little miniatures can get up and down. And you can never have enough little staircases. And yeah, it's coming together. Looks really silly right now with all the little kid colors. But yeah, I like this stuff. Like, it saves me a lot of time. And another thing too is, like, any time that you craft with like the pink phone or even that Dollar Tree white styrofoam board, you will get little flecks of foam freaking everywhere. And this is much less messy. And I believe too that they do different things to this to make it safe for children, so there's less nasty stuff in there, and so safer. And I'm using my hot tool here, and I'll quickly note too that these EVA foam takes a little bit more heat, and obviously make sure that if you are using a hot wire tool, to either use a respirator or have some serious ventilation going, because you do not want to breathe those fumes. And here I have carved all the bricks in, because those of you who place bricks single and cut out bricks like that, you're nuts. Stop it. And yes, so anyways, that was my TED Talk. And I have some cool one-page rules, scatter terrain. I believe this is from the Battle Sisters, so it kind of fits the medieval Mordheim vibe, and I'm going to use this kind of for little greeblies and little details. And this is kind of like one of my new favorite things to do with my 3D printer. When I first started 3D printing, I went gangbusters on miniatures, and now I kind of like have too many, and and stuff that's like backlogged to paint. And what I like is these little details, for my builds that kind of put that little charm, that little final touch to some of the things, where if I was going to craft that sort of thing, sculpt it from clay or something, would take a day. And this is just so cool. You can just print out these little pieces, put some embellishes on here. I've got some time this weekend to let this little thing dry, so I'm skipping the hot glue. I'm using the tacky glue here, and just create a little foam, little booster, little pillar for the little angel of death, or whatever the heck this thing is. It's pretty cool. It's gonna look great on the board. And so now we move on to priming, and I'm just creating a little primer here with some PVA glue, a little bit of varnish, and some water, and some black paint. It's kind of like a little bit of a riff on that world famous Black Magic Craft priming stuff. And I just tend to use glue instead of Mod Podge. Mod Podge is great, but it is a little bit expensive, and inflation is wild right now in the US, so just trying to not break the bank too bad over here. And so we're gonna prime these pieces, and I found this like little freaky little kids brush at the Dollar Tree, and it's my absolute favorite brush for terrain. If you're looking for a terrain brush, it's kind of like a nice combination between a dry brush and like a nice horsehair type brush. It just, the way that it's structured, like for little kids, it just like hits the crevices really well. And we got it all primed up here. We're doing a little glamour shot, let it dry. Here's it's all dried up, and it's looking good. This is always a really cool part of the piece, and I'm already definitely like really liking the way this stuff looks and how much time it saved me. And I'm definitely gonna go back and try to get more of these little kids blocks, maybe a larger piece, and we're gonna do a couple more terrain builds with this with these little kids toys. And all you moms and dads out there, go buy them. Don't take them from your kids unless they, you know, grew out of it or something, you know. And don't torture your children because of the videos you see on YouTube. But yes, we're moving on to some overbrushing. Most of the bricks in my city are of this gray scheme, which will do basically 2 grays, a medium gray and a light gray for the edges and the highlights, which we can be, you know, pretty sloppy with. That's the great thing about painting stone. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's almost the imperfections that create the illusion, that create a more organic display to the eye. And we're going to hit the edges. We're going to hit some of the statues and embellishments here, and just create a little variety on our pieces here. And then we're moving on to the top of the aqueducts here, which has this wood planks. You know, you would have underneath the planks would be, you know, like a little river where the water, you know, comes through the aqueducts. I think we're going to do a second variation of the pieces where we might do, I think it would look cool to have some of the planks broken, and we could like dig down into the foam and create like the green, sickly warpstone tainted river. I think that would be really cool for some variation pieces on this, or maybe some of the aqueducts which like have been torn down and have some rubble on the bottom of them. I think there's a lot of different ways you could go with this, and I'm definitely having a lot of fun making this, and I'm going to get some more of these blocks and see. And then so the rest of my Mordheim city also has kind of this variation of bricks, tan bricks, brown bricks, and you know, red bricks, which we're gonna put on there. And then since these are going to be coming out of like the gross river, we're going to put some like moss and sort of like algae, or even the warpstone type residue, using some watered down cheap acrylic paint here on the bottom, so that, you know, the point of the pillars, which have been sitting in the water, have this gross kind of growth on them, you know, as well as a glow from the weird stone / warpstone tainted water. And yeah, so these are starting to come along here. And since I had a little trouble getting really nice indentations with the hot wire gun, the EVA foam being a little bit more sturdy, I went back with a Sharpie and just went through some of the bricks and some of the planks of the wood, just to enhance the look. And then here is a little quick homemade wash with some brown black inks, some acrylic medium, and some Elmer's glue and some water. And you can see here the washed piece on the left and the unwashed on the right, and that's about it. We're going to roll that beautiful bean footage.